A Chinese land invasion is happening right as we speak. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell, and we are getting there. I'm making a push to get China Uncensored to 2 million subscribers by the end of this year. When I started a few weeks ago, we needed 40,000 subscribers. Now it's down to just 20,000 more. So if you're watching and you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, again, remember to make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube has been secretly unsubscribing people. Now on with the show. So, to hear Chinese state-run media tell it, China is the best promoter of peace, rule of law, and territorial integrity. My favorite Chinese state-run media, the Global Times, says China is a guardian of peace who matches words with deeds. And you can see just how much words and deeds match up from this footage of the Chinese Coast Guard attacking Filipino boats in Filipino territorial waters. Or how about that clash along the India-China border? The truth is, China is already invading its neighbors. Yes, China is currently occupying territory that belongs to other countries. The Chinese Communist Party is building villages all along China's border. And according to satellite images, at least 12 of them are in areas claimed by other countries. Once they're built, the CCP makes sure that they're populated, no matter how inhospitable the land around them is. Chinese leader Xi Jinping calls these people border guardians. China incentivizes border guardians to relocate to these villages with the promise of cheap rent, jobs, and sometimes even cold hard cash. And given the state of the Chinese economy, that's a pretty tempting offer. The economy is so bad, even China's like, the best thing you can do to support yourself is leave. So these border guardians are moving into these villages set up in territories that belong to other countries, like this one located inside the borders of Bhutan, because to China, a border is just a suggestion. Just by being present in the border villages, Chinese border guardians help China legitimize its claims over other countries' territories. And the size and number of these villages are growing rapidly. Many are along the disputed border with India. China and India have actually gone to war over this disputed territory. Even today, there are deadly clashes along the border. You can see from satellite images just how quickly these villages are being built up. This one is just 9 miles from India. But you can also see many of these Chinese villages being built along the Tibetan border with Bhutan and Nepal. But even in these cases, the ultimate goal is India. India has good reason to be concerned. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, a think tank based in Washington, D.C., found that some of these Chinese villages close to the Indian border likely have military facilities. CSIS noted things that resembled military barracks, radar and communication towers, observation and operational support facilities, helipads, and military heavy trucks. The New York Times also identified military assets such as trucks and tents, as well as what appeared to be a shooting range. Based on recent satellite imagery analyzed by the New York Times, 2 experts found that China has put at least one village near every accessible Himalayan pass that borders India, as well as on most of the passes bordering Bhutan and Nepal. India is well aware of the threat Chinese infrastructure poses, which is why, back in 2017, it even went so far as to send troops into Bhutan to stop PLA engineers from building a road. The result? A 72-day standoff between China and India on Bhutanese soil. India has also launched its own village building program called Vibrant Villages, so they can't match China's breakneck pace. But China's border villages aren't limited to India and its immediate neighbors. There's also ones awfully close to Tajikistan and Vietnam. This is the land-based version of the artificial islands China created in the South China Sea. And the goal is the same: conquer more territory. So anytime someone tells you China never invaded another country, you can tell them that's a lie. Or better yet, tell them to go subscribe to China Uncensored. Here at China Uncensored, we love pointing out how the Chinese Communist Party is no friend to the world, but we can't do it alone. The show barely gets anything from YouTube ad revenue, so we need your support. Please head over to patreon.com/ChinaUncensored, where you can support the channel and crew for as little as $1 per month. And as a thank you, I'll respond to your questions or comments on the show. And today's comes from Kelvin H. I personally think that the natural disasters China has suffered have spiritual origins. Now that's an interesting point, Kelvin. So, China has had a really bad year of natural disasters. It seems like each year is getting worse, and often subpar infrastructure makes them even more deadly. Now, whether or not this is divine punishment, I can't say. But the Chinese Communist Party is very concerned that that's what the Chinese people are thinking. China has a tradition called the Mandate of Heaven. The idea is that when the leaders are virtuous, everything will go well. If they aren't, natural disasters will show that the heavens no longer support their rule. This is why the party is so obsessed with stability maintenance. They keep a tight grip on things to make it seem like the party has total control. But natural disasters make it very clear the party does not. Thank you for writing, Kelvin, and thank you for your support. And you can join me on Patreon by clicking that orange button. And before you go, I have another video I want to show you about how China is trying to take over the gaming industry. Click here and let me know what you think. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.